Hi everybody, welcome. Tonight I would like to give you a really sweet yin and restorative practice. I've now been in quarantine for almost 2 weeks, and it's a lot. It's a lot. We're hearing people that we know that have been affected by what's going on in the outside world, people who we love who are in healthcare or who are service workers or have their own individual stories, right? And it's coming to us, and I think that the next couple of weeks are only going to be harder. What I'm trying to do to keep myself together is to give myself some of these passive practices. If you repress the fear and you repress the thinking, you repress the emotions that you're feeling, everything is just stuck inside of you. And the idea of this yoga practice is to go to the feeling, go to the emotion, go towards the experience and see if what you get out of it, that when you're in the pose and breathing into your body, notice where you're holding that sensation, maybe where you're holding that tension. That's an opportunity for you to not just let go, but to investigate. Why am I holding this tension here in my body? What does this mean for me? And when I release it, what space can I create to make myself feel whole and to make myself feel well, or to unburden myself from at least some of the things. There's layers and layers and layers of anxieties going on right now, and layers of fear as well. So if you can unburden yourself just a littlest bit, I think it'll make a really big difference in your lives as you go through these kind of crazy, crazy days. So with that, you won't need much for this practice. I know that probably most of you don't have actual yoga props, but I have just a pillow. If you have like a longer pillow, even a body pillow would be good instead of a bolster. And then if you have a blocker too, that would be great. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. We'll use pillows and we'll just see where it goes. So let's start off lying down on our mats. You might notice Harvey is here to hang out until he's gone. Where do you want to go, bud? And go sit up on your couch? Go ahead. Yeah, he's probably going to watch from his little perch. All right. So go ahead and lie down on your mat. I like to start in constructive rest, which means your knees are bent, feet are on the floor, spine is super supported. If you'd like your full shavasana, extend your legs long, make sure there are no props in the way. Let yourself take up the space. Flip the palms open. Lengthen the tail and let your feet flap out. Now, it'll never be exactly perfect or perfectly symmetrical, so at a certain point, make a choice to pause. Let yourself be still. I'm going to come up and talk to you while you guys hang out in Shavasana. Give yourself a moment to just settle. A moment to just be with yourself, your body, and recognize what's coming up in you. Your thoughts, your feelings, your expectations, your dreams. We're so distracted by our lives and by, constant stimulation all the time bombarding us that we don't really take the time to inspect the mind and to see where the mind is and where it's wandering. So let this be a practice of bearing witness to your inner life. Bearing witness to your inner life. So as the thoughts come up, acknowledge them. As the breaths come up, acknowledge them too. Nothing is stuck or forced. Let the thoughts and breaths be just easy and natural. But you do begin to notice the sensory experience that comes with breathing. Maybe the temperature of the breath, its taste and texture over your throat. Clench your jaw. Relax the belly of your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Get soft behind your eyes so you can sink your eyes deeper down into their sockets. Spread the space between your brows. Give yourself a moment to just check in. If your legs are outstretched, go ahead and bend your knees, plant your feet. Take a nice inhale together and let that breath go. You're going to pick up your hips and shift them over to the right side of your mat. Then let your knees fall over to the left. You can let your shins stack one on top of each other. Stretch your opposite arm out to the side. And then let your feet go wherever they feel comfortable. They don't have to be perfectly held. Everything's soft. If your knees don't make it together, you might want to slide a plank of a pillow. This is a pillow between your knees. And that'll give you some support. And you can always take your pillow underneath both knees so it's not as deep of a twist. Now, can you let your muscular effort go? And when the muscles release, it's gravity and time. And the poses themselves that help to gently coax open your connective tissues. They kind of tug like taffy. Take a deep breath and let it go. Walk your feet back to center. Center your pelvis and feel the difference for a moment. It's subtle, but it's always good to pay attention to the spaces in between. Shift your hips over the other way. Drop your knees to the right. Again, you can place your pillow bolster between your knees, which feels kind of nice right now, or underneath your knees to soften the torso. Notice where you have access to your breath and where your breath might feel a little restricted. The poses help to open up some of those blind spots, and hopefully we can get a nice big breath out of you by the end of this thing. Just another few breaths or so. And then walk your feet back to center. Center your hips. This isn't so yin-y, but it's a little therapeutic that I like to throw into my yin classes. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh like an ankle to knee, and then rock from side to side just a little bit. And you're giving your sacrum, your SI joint, a little bit of a massage against the floor, and this rocking feeling feels so nice. You can make bigger rocks all the way off to the side. Let's try to stay in control in your core. But nothing too hard, not a lot of effort. Good, then come back to the center. This is different. Point your foot and then tuck your right foot behind your left ankle. Drop your knee out to the side. So my foot here is blocking the other foot from going any further, and it's also your sticky mat. You're probably good to go. If you want to deepen the sensation, your opposite hand reaches down to catch that foot. And then I can walk my feet a little closer together. Let me show you this front view. So I have this foot crossed behind, and then the opposite hand is going to catch the top of the foot. So I can walk everything a little bit closer and have access to the front of this hip, my glutes. So as you inhale, contract your glutes and press your knee deeper down towards the floor. You don't have to lift up, but just enough activation so that you feel like, oh, those are my glutes engaged. Good. And then you exhale and soften the glutes all the way down to the bone. 2 more times. Inhale, contract. Exhale, relax. 1 more time. Inhale, contract. And relax. Now get soft here for a few easy breaths. Without doing anything at all, can you send more breath into your back ribs? And encourage those back ribs. It's going to drift away from the pelvis and create more space around the waist. Release your foot. Step it back to the floor. And now we'll take the other side. Cross your left ankle over the right thigh. Turn the knee out. And just very gently rock from side to side. And come back to center and point your foot. Tuck that foot behind your opposite ankle. Let your knee drop out to the side. Maybe your opposite hand reaches down to catch the top of that foot, and then you can walk everything a little closer. Trying to get some access to the front of this hip and thigh. So as you inhale, contract your left glutes and try to press your knee deeper down towards the floor. As you exhale, relax and soften. Again, like that, inhale, contract. And exhale, relax. Notice if you're scrunching your face or doing anything that like contortion, like you're working too hard if you are. Okay, squeeze your tush with your inhale. And relax as you exhale. Good, take a few easy breaths right here. Release your foot if you have it. Straighten your left leg all the way out in front of you. And then you're going to roll all the way over onto your belly. You take a nice big chest stretch. This is one of my favorites. I'm going to give you two options, and you're going to choose the one that benefits you the most. And I'll talk to you about why when we get into it. So there's a straight arm variation, and there's a bent elbow variation. I'm going to do the straight arm one first. With your fingers extended out, your thumb is just a little higher than your nose, right? So my hand's not below my shoulders, just a little bit higher than my shoulder. I'm going to use my opposite hand to turn my head away and then push and roll off to the side. Now I'm going to bend my knees real quick and pull them into my chest. And if this is feeling like it's too much, I can always just roll towards the floor, okay? To deepen, I'm going to crawl my fingers way out, even more than I thought I could, way out. So instead of feeling like my arm, the head of the arm bone is internally rotating and digging into the floor, it's deep external rotation. And so I'm getting a massive stretch across my chest. Okay? So some of us will stay here once you climb that arm away from you. Maybe you step your opposite foot to the floor. Squeeze my back. Some people like a straight leg. Some people like a half bind here. It's feeling really, really good. You can reach out for your fingertips and have something like a bind. This is not so pretty. Pretend I didn't do that, okay? I'm going to catch my wrist instead. And with those shoulder blades wrapped back like this, you might play with what's going on in your head. Rock your head side to side a little bit. Chew around in your jaw. And give yourself a few moments to breathe out. If you're feeling like it's too intense, you can always go back to a softer modification. Slowly straighten the legs. And with control, roll to the belly. Other side. So I'm going to stretch my opposite arm out to the side. I'm going to move over a little bit because I have to touch the legs. Thumb in line with nose. Turn my head the other way. I'm going to roll onto my side. Excuse me. I'm going to tuck my knees up to take the strain out of it and then walk that arm as far away as I can get it so that I feel the muscles in my chest and not my arm bone digging into the floor. And step the top foot to the floor behind you. Maybe straighten the bottom leg. We are not really symmetrical, so one side's going to feel kind of different than the other side, and that is okay. Okay, as you're ready, straighten your legs behind you, put some weight in the palm in front of you, and then roll gently back towards your belly. Oh, that's a big pose. And take your hands under your shoulders and push back to a child's pose. Open your knees a little bit, bring your big toes to touch, shift your hips back to your heels, and let everything fall towards the floor. Now, you send some breath into the back body. Let your knees widen so your belly can fall between your thighs and get this big, deep belly and rib breath. And then walk your hands back. Press up to sit. Swing around towards well, I'm going to swing around towards you. You can just come on up to sit and take a peek. How are we doing so far? All good? Okay. Grab any blocks that you have. And if you do have a pillow, that might be helpful as well. We're going to play with an ankle to knee. But stacking the shins like this is a lot. Just getting the shins stacked, some of you might be sitting up here super uncomfortable, and that's not what I want. So let's start off just by crossing your shins like you would in a comfortable cross-legged seat. You might want a towel or a pillow underneath your seat to literally prop you up. It'll help to tip your pelvis forward. If you're wanting to go deeper in your ankle to knee, instead of letting your foot fall on the inside of your knee, see if you can let your ankle dangle over the ledge so that your knees are in line with the center of your hips. And the more narrow you go, the more sensation you're going to get in those outer hips. Okay? Got your two blocks. I like to start on the high setting. I have two different blocks for some reason. And then your bolster or your pillow can go on top of that for support. Now, come on down and pull forward. You might notice that, oh, this is actually too high for me. So you can put your blocks maybe on a lower setting and then use your bolster. Maybe you don't need your bolster and you just want to rest your head on a block. All I ask is that you try to find a way that your head is supported by something so that there's just ease and a way for you to not be dangling your head in space, but actually have that support underneath you. It's quite grounding and freeing. So just a few minutes here. Once you settle, bring your attention back to your breath. Notice how it feels here. And imagine you could breathe, beginning at the base of the spine. Imagine that breath traveling up your back, washing over the crown of your head. And as you exhale, imagine the breath spilling down your belly, down your whole front body, and then back to the base of your tailbone. So you inhale up the back body, and you exhale down the front body. Take a deep breath and let it go. Lock your hands slowly back underneath you. Unravel your legs. And then go ahead and lie all the way down on your back. Just for about 30 seconds or so, let the front of your hips unfold, let your spine release. You might circle your feet or circle your ankles. Rock your head from side to side. Just keep checking in. How do I feel now? Where am I breathing now? Where are my thoughts now? And then continuously come back to what you feel in the moment. As you're ready, bend your knees, roll to your side, and come on back up to sit. I'm going to take the other side. So left shin in front or left shin on top for ankle to knee. You don't have to find yourself in the deepest stretch of your life, right? Find a shape that feels interesting enough for you to be able to be in it for a couple of minutes and be interested in the sensation that the pose brings to you, but not so deep that you feel like you're stifling your breath or you're stuck or you're frustrated or there's any kind of gripping tension. That's a sign that it's too much, that you want to be in the sweet spot where it's sweet and interesting enough for you to be in, soft enough for you to actually be in it for a couple of minutes, okay? So if you use your props, you can do your little prop tower. Otherwise, go ahead and fold forward. Again, I'll talk you through that easy breath exercise here if you're interested in it. More than having to do anything, it's just more of imagining the breath moving circularly. So imagine the inhale travels from the base of your spine and all the way up your back to the top of your head. And imagine the exhale trickles down your nose, lips, and belly, and ends up back down at the base of the tailbone. So you inhale up the back, and you exhale down the back. Can you notice any parts in your body where maybe you're compensating? Okay, I don't feel the pose here, but I'm using this part of my body to hold on to the tension, the effort through it. Even there can be softened. For me, it's my jaw. Maybe for you, it's your toes or between your brows. But do notice those little pools where you collect your tension. Just another few breaths here. And take a deep breath. Climb your way back up to sit. Move your props off to the side and shake out your legs a little bit. Okay, here's dessert. Ready? Find your bolster or your pillow, whatever it is that you're using as your smushy soft prop. And I'm going to show you a couple different variations. You can use your pillow lengthwise, just like your bolster, and recline on it. And you're not getting too much of a back bend, but it certainly is a bit of a lift in the heart and an opening across the chest. This would be just a really, really lovely way for you to get a little heart opener. If you have two pillows, you can stack two pillows as well, and that's going to deepen the back bend. I'm going to turn mine across horizontally so I can get a deeper back bend in my upper back. I'm going to have my arms behind the bolster a little bit, my legs outstretched, so that you can see that the sternum is the highest point. Okay? This whole abdomen space is open as well. If you would also like to get yourself a blanket to cover your belly and a towel to go over your eyes or a little sleeping mask, that would be really lovely to really drop you in. Let's go ahead and take another moment to get comfortable. Your eyes soften. Unclench your jaw. Relax your tongue. Soften behind your eyes and between your brows. Relax the tips of your shoulders, points of your elbows, your wrists, palms, and fingertips. Relax your hips, your knees, ankles, and toes. From the base of your spine to the crown of your head. The entirety of your body gets soft, yet buoyant. Your mind might wander or daydream, fall asleep. That's okay. There are no rules at all right now. You just let yourself be. You're welcome to stay here as long as you want.